on the board, there are 3 different graphs, and there are 3 different distributions. And so each of those distributions have different characteristics, different qualities. And so if we look at the first one, a negative or a left-skewed distribution, notice what it says. In a negatively skewed distribution, the mean is less than the median, and the majority of the data is on the right, and the tail extends to the left. Okay, so that's one thing that you're going to have to be able to identify. A negatively skewed distribution. The mean is less than the median. The majority of the data is on the right side of the graph. Okay. And the tail extends to the left. Now, in a symmetrical distribution, the data are evenly distributed on both sides of the mean and the median are approximately equal. So what can you tell me about this distribution? What does it look like?
It's equal.
Yeah, there's also something else that you might have learned about that this would be called.
Oh.
Is there anything you can think of that you've learned that this would be called?
Which one?
This symmetrical distribution, another name?
Mountain?
I don't know if you've heard this term or not, but it's similar to the bell curve. Okay, back a while ago, this was probably, I don't know, probably 20, maybe 30 years ago, a lot of people graded on the bell curve. And what that means is that the majority of your data is in the middle. So the majority of the people would get C's. Okay, you would have equal number of people get B's and D's, and equal number of people get A's and F's. So that was what the bell curve was. Obviously, we don't grade that way today, but we'll talk more about that because that's going to be where a lot of our statistics study begins. And the last one is a positively skewed distribution. The mean is greater than the median. The majority of the data is on the left, and the tail extends to the right. So an easy way to remember this might be that it's opposite. Okay? In a left-skewed distribution, the majority of the data is on the right. In a right-skewed distribution, the majority of the data is on the left. And so you're going to have to be able to identify each of those distributions. So next, we're going to look at something from your book. Okay, and this is actually a paragraph right below that. And so if you've got your book open to that page 654, you can just read along. But it says, when a distribution is reasonably symmetrical, the mean and the median are close together. Okay? In skewed distributions, however, the mean is located closer to the tail than the median. Outliers, which are extremely high or low values in a data set, will cause the mean to drift even further toward the tail. The median is less affected by the presence of outliers. For these reasons, the median is called a resistant statistic because it's resistant to outside factors or outside the outliers in this example. And the mean is a non-resistant statistic. So now there's a key concept. When choosing measures of center and spread to describe a function, first examine the shape. So that's the first thing you're going to look at. If the distribution is reasonably symmetrical and free of outliers, use the mean and the standard deviation. If the distribution is skewed or has strong outliers, the 5-number summary, which we're going to use your graphing calculator for, usually provides a better summary of the overall pattern in the data. So our first example that we're going to do deals with a skewed distribution. So you're going to need a graphing calculator. So go ahead and get that out. Now, those of you that are watching the video, you might want to follow along because in your book, it outlines these steps as well. So the first thing it says is we want to construct a histogram and use it to describe the shape of the distribution. So the very first place that you're going to press is Stat. Okay, so you're going to hit the Stat button. Now you're going to hit Edit. So now notice you should have 3 columns, L1, L2, and L3, correct? We need to enter all the data into L1. Now does anybody have data in L2?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to go ahead and select the L2. Remember how you scroll up to the top? We hit the clear button and hit enter and the data's all gone. Do the same thing with L1. Hit clear and enter. Don't hit the delete key because otherwise it'll delete L1. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and enter in all of the data. So 248 will be my first. It doesn't matter which one you enter in. Don't go to L2 at all.
You just go down, right?
Go down.
So if you use the bottom, the first column, you start 219 there?
What?
Don't you have to throw?
You just twisted that first column, you have it.
I want you to type in all data values.
So like 219.
I want you to type in all 30 data values.
In already ordered?
In one row?
I want you to type in all 30 data
Gosh.
values.
Shows it's like that.
You think I want you to type in all 30 data values? Yes. So go ahead and type those in.
Just put that in the third space.
Okay. All right, does everybody have it in? Now the top left key on your calculator, you're going to notice has a y equals, right? But then in blue it says stat plot. So we need to hit stat plot. So to do that, you need to hit the second button first and then hit the y equals key. At the top of the screen, you should see stat plots 1, plot 1 off. What we need to do is press enter. Okay, we are going to turn plot 1 on. So go ahead and move that over. And then what?
Mine's already on.
Okay, that's fine. And then I need you to go where it says type. It gives you 6 different types there, right? I want you to select the histogram one, which is the bar graph. Okay, so select the histogram one. It's the third one over. So to move that over, you just hit enter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit the graph button. Okay, so hit the graph button, top right. Now what's going to happen is you're probably not going to see anything, right? Okay, so I want you to go to zoom, and I want you to go to zoom stat, which is number 9. So the zoom one is right in the middle of the top. Okay, zoom, the top middle, and hit stat. Now when you do that and press enter,
Wow, that was good.
now notice what it created. It actually created a bar graph for you. No, I know. What did you do? Did you say air?
One big one. Yeah, it's because you just keep typing it like that. You make like 20 mistakes.
Okay, so anyway, that's what a histogram looks like. So in looking at that, we have 3 different choices. Is this a negatively skewed, left skewed, or is it a symmetrical, or is it a positive or right skewed distribution? It's a positive right skewed because remember the majority of the data is on the left. Now one of the neat things about this is that we need to now summarize the center and spread of the data by using either the mean and the standard deviation. So what we're going to do is we're going to find instantly what's the mean of all these set of data values. And so in order to find the mean, what you're going to do is hit the stat button again. Okay, hit the stat button. Okay, you're going to now go to calc. And you're going to hit 1 var stats. Okay, when you hit 1 var stats, scroll down and click calculate.
I got it. Like a list of this. I hit one of our stats.
Oh, I think that's
This is the
What?
I accidentally pushed one of our stats.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't press enter.
Oh, that's oh.
Yep. So after you hit the one bar stats, it should say one bar stats. There should be a blinking cursor. Press enter, and you're going to notice you should have a screen that looks like this. It says X bar equals what?
233.162.
Now, this 233.16 repeating, does anybody know what that X bar is? This is the mean. Okay, so there's your mean. Now, the other stuff, if we scroll down, the standard of deviation. And so notice you see the standard of deviation. The standard of deviation, in this case, if we keep scrolling down, okay, you should see the standard deviation. That's the little sigma. It's the one right above n equals 30. Okay, keep scrolling down and hit, as you scroll down, you're going to notice you can also see the median. What's the median in this problem? 227.5. So let's look, the mean is less than the median. Okay, and since the mean is less than the median, yep, there you go.
I thought that graph was positive.
The graph is positively skewed, and that doesn't actually, in this case, match. Okay? So, what we're going to do is, what you're going to need to do is write down, okay, that the mean is 233.16. You're going to need to write down that the median is 227.5. The other thing we're going to utilize from that screen is we're going to utilize these two things. We're going to utilize the min and the max. What'd you get the min to be on the screen?
205.
205. What's the max?
205.
So what that tells me is that the home prices were from $205,000 to $299,000. Okay? Now you should see a Q1. What does the Q1 say? On your screen. 217. What does the Q3 say?
245.
245. So what this means, these are quartiles. This means that 50% of your data is between these two values. 50% of your data is between 217 and 245,000. All right, let's go ahead and look at another one and see how we do. Okay, the lab grades of all the students in a biology class are shown. Construct a histogram. So you walk me through, where am I going to go? Stat, where? Edit. And then what am I going to do? Enter in all the data values. What I would do first is make sure you clear out all of your old ones first before you put your new ones in so there's no leftovers. So on L1, hit clear and then hit enter. Did you already graph it then on your histogram? Okay, what does it look like? If you hit graph and then zoom stat, go to zoom and hit zoom stat. I'm anxious to see what all you're going to look like. I'm going to see you get? Oh, good, you got the same one I did. Good. Did you get? Yep, that's about what I got. All right, good. Okay, so now what do you think that looks like? Is it skewed either direction? Not really. It looks like it's more center space, or more kind of center dominated there. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and find the data values. So go ahead and calculate the statistics. Okay, so I go stat, then where do I go next? Calc, one var stats. Okay, so calc, one var stats, and let's go through these, especially for those people watching the video. What's your X bar, your mean? 81.25, okay? You have n equals 24 means 24 data values. What is the min X? What'd you get for the min X? 63. What'd you get for Q1? 74.5. We got the median to be what? 80. We got Q3 to be what? 88.5. And we got the max X to be 98. So let's revisit again what that means. Okay, first of all, this is your mean right here. So the average grade is an 81.25. The median grade is an 80. This is the low grade. This is the highest grade. And then do we remember about the 74.5 and the 88.5? Yep. 50% of grades are between 74.5 and 88.5. Okay. Questions? Now, there are mathematical ways to calculate these without using a calculator. They take a lot more time. So we're saving quite a bit of time here. Okay, so let's see what the next one is. Distributions of data are not always symmetrical or skewed. Sometimes data will fall into subgroups or clusters. Okay? If a distribution has a gap in the middle, two separate clusters of data may result. A distribution of data that has two modes, and therefore two peaks, is known as a bimodal distribution. Okay, think about that. Bi means two. So let's go ahead and enter in the annual cost of tuition. Okay, so go ahead, we go to Stat, Edit, and we're going to enter in those 20 values. Be careful when you enter these in because it's hard with all the zeros. So what do you notice happens when you graph this? What happens in the middle? Okay. So remember to graph again, go to Zoom, Z-Stat, and it'll graph the new graph for you. What happens in the middle? Everybody got a graph? It goes down. So basically it's like you got two towers and then you have something in the middle. Okay, and so this one would be called a bimodal distribution. And so let's go ahead and figure out our mean and let's figure out our mean first of all. So tell me what the mean is. 20,335. So that means the average cost, okay, of tuition at this college fair. All right, what's the median? 16,650. So what that tells you, since 16,650 is the lowest value, That tells you that that's the middle point. That tells you that in order for the mean to be at 20,000, you've got to have a lot of high values, higher than 16,000, which you do. You have some colleges there in the 30s, and that's what pull that mean up. Okay? Questions? Okay, we're going to now talk about box plots because your calculator will in fact construct these as well. And so first of all, you have negatively skewed, and positively skewed box plots. And these actually are real similar to the distributions we looked at. With the negatively skewed box plot, notice how it is. It's actually on the right side. Okay, the left whisker is longer than the right whisker, and the line representing the median is closer to Q3 than Q1. If you're wondering what those Q3s are, okay, these are our quartiles, and so if you remember when we did those one-bar stats, that's where those numbers correlate to. Okay, symmetrical, the whiskers are the same length, and the line representing the median is exactly between the two. And then a positively skewed. The right whisker is longer than the left, and the line representing the median is closer to Q1 than Q3. So let's go ahead and enter the data values in from this example. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can create a box plot. Should be 15 values when you get them entered in. Yep. What you're going to do when you get done with this one, remember you need to go to stat plot, so you need to hit the second and the y equals button. You'll go to stat plot, and on type, you're going to have to use your right arrow, and you're going to select the box plot that's in the bottom middle. Okay, I don't want the one with the two dots. Okay. Now go to zoom and go to Z stat again, and it will now graph it. And so real quick, what does this one look like? Where's the box? On the left. So here's the whisker, and I just have a little space here, and this is what my box kind of looks like here, like that, and then it looks like this. Somebody else get that? Okay, so that's your box and whisker plot. Now if I wanted to find the data value or the stats, I could just go to stat again, calculate the one bar stats. What do you get the mean to be here? What's the mean? I got 210.2. Somebody else get that? 210.2 is the mean. Okay, now if we scroll down here, quartile 1, that means this number here is 109. My median here is 151, and quartile 3 here is at 248. Okay, this number here is actually at 89, and that up here is at 736. Okay. All right, questions? Any questions? Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do side-by-side box plots, and so what we need to do is enter in the data in the first 15-year period in L1, the data in the second 15-year period in L2. This is the last one we're going to do today. No, you will have. Okay, so do you have both data values in, L1 and L2? Or not? Okay, now what we're going to need to do, you need to go up to stat plot again. Okay, so go up to stat plot. We are going to turn plot 2 on. So you have to go up to stat plot. Go up to stat plot. Oh, go up to stat plot. I need you to turn plot 2 on because plot 2 is actually going to graph the second set. So go to plot 2, turn it on, select the box and whisker again. Now it's going to give you something that says X list. And right now it's going to say X list L1. We don't want it to pull from L1 for the second graph. Where do we want it to pull from? L2. So you need to highlight that, delete it, and L2 actually shares the same button as 2 except for it's in a different color. So you're going to have to hit the second again and change it to L2. When you do that, go to Zoom, Z-Stat, and see what happens. Okay? You should get something that looks like that. Oh. Okay, you gotta change it to line graph.
Zoom stat. Just say zoom.
Okay, did you get them? Okay, so that's where you can do side-by-side box plots. One of the things you're going to notice there when you look at them is that the median in which one is greater?
2.
Median in 1 is greater.
Yes.
Okay? The reason why the median in 1 is greater is because you're getting something like this in number 1, right? And then in number 2, you're getting something like this. So, where's the median in 1? The median in 1 is right here. The median in 2 is right here. So this one obviously is bigger. Okay? So this is what you need to do. Okay? You need to go to page 660 through 661, 1 through 8, 11 through 14. Now real quick, on 1 through 8, this is what you need to do. It says construct a histogram and use it to describe the shape of the distribution. So we're looking for what type of distribution is this? That's going to be your first answer. The next answer says summarize the center and spread of data. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the mean and the median on each of those. Okay, so what type of distribution? Mean, median on 1 through 4. The next one, 5 and 6, is the box plots. Once again, on the box plot, I need you to describe the shape of the distribution, and then I need to tell you, or I need you to tell me what's the mean, the quartile 1, which is Q1, the median in Q3. And then same with 7 and 8. On 11 through 14, those are just identify and match. Okay, so for tomorrow, that assignment.